Welcome to the Marriage Be Like podcast. We're your hosts, Kenny
and Kenya.
And we are so glad that you are joining us today. Listen, this podcast is here to discuss love and relationships, life topics, and how to navigate through it all.
Disclaimer, we are not specialists or counselors or professionals in these fields. We are a married couple who's got 27 years of life experiences under our belt. We hope to open some discussions, build communication, and plant some seeds. So sit back, enjoy, and let's have a conversation and grow together. Hello, and welcome back to the Marriage Be Like podcast.
Welcome back.
We're so happy you came back to visit, and for those who are coming for the first time, listening to us, wherever you may be.
Wherever.
May not be in the United States.
That's right.
Maybe somewhere else around the world.
Because within envision-radio.com, you could be anywhere.
Many countries. So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to catch us, of course, same time next week.
Yes.
Every Thursday we are here.
Right. At 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. And then 3 o'clock Central.
Yes.
All right. So also, while we're at it, go ahead and tell your people.
That's it.
You found a great podcast.
Mom and
you heard me correct it real quick.
Mom and them.
Mm-hmm. Tell everybody, spread the word.
Yeah.
We want more and more listeners. We want people to listen to Envision Radio. It's
be
an awesome
part.
Station. Yes, be
That's
a
right.
part. All right. You can also go to our website.
MarriageBeLike.com.
We're just talking together. Okay. Go to MarriageBeLike.com for past episodes. There we go. In a nutshell.
Okay. Is it my turn to speak yet?
Go ahead.
Or you can actually just check us out wherever you get your podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music's podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Everywhere. We all over the place.
Yes.
Or just go to marriagebelike.com and you can check us out there. You can just get a little bit about our story because that's on there, as well as all of our episodes of the previous episodes of the podcast. So
you can roll right through and binge. There you go.
Binge, listen.
Yes. Listen to them all. Okay, let's go right into our calendar review.
Okay.
All right, so I have a correction.
Yes.
I was totally confused on my month.
And I just rolled right there with you.
So last week I said that Memorial Day was on the 31st.
Of May.
Except it was on the 26th of May.
That's right.
Yes. So I need to make that correction.
So correction anyway. Yep.
Yes. So Memorial Day here in the States is a day to honor all those who served and died for this country.
That's right.
And so we take out a day to honor those people and animals.
Okay. That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I never given that much.
Because they don't say much about it, but we have quite a few pets in our military.
Yeah.
Not just dogs.
All right.
We're talking about birds.
Okay. Do they have any snakes?
I don't know, but there are horses and so on and so forth. Yeah.
I want to know if there are snakes.
I don't know. I just gave you my answer. I don't know.
And geckos.
Funny. So anyway, yes. So that is our day that we honor those who have died for our country. All right. And so May, the month of May, we celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month.
That's right.
All right. So if you listened last week, and if you didn't last week, you can go back and listen last week.
That's right.
But we talked about mental health awareness.
We did.
So this week will be no different.
Okay.
We're going to talk about a little bit more detail.
All right.
But first, we're going to talk about our holiday and how we spent it.
Yes. Memorial Day, the weekend, the day. We were going to talk about the whole weekend.
We can talk about the whole weekend. That's fine.
Yeah, we did a couple things that weekend.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we relaxed. We didn't work this weekend.
No.
I was like, as an entrepreneur, see, I don't have to work when I don't want to work.
Yeah.
I'm taking my holiday.
So what did we do? What did we do this weekend?
Saturday, we went to the movies.
That's right. What did we see?
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. And don't ask me the rest of the title because I have no idea.
Yeah, Day of Reckoning.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I don't know.
There's like
May be wrong.
1,500
I may be wrong.
Impossibles.
So what I do know is that movie was forever long.
Oh, it was long.
All right.
It was long.
So, but
it was pretty good though.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I was surprised that I sat through the entire thing without dozing off.
Like me.
Yeah. I mean, first 15 minutes, she was gone.
Oh, I sure was. But it was a catch-up time period. I hadn't seen many of the other movies prior.
So you
I was
should
a
have
little
been
bit confused to the point of boredom.
So boredom.
And then I woke up and I was like, you know what? I think I'm catching on.
How dare you say that you were bored of Mission Impossible?
It was just because I didn't understand it. It was a Saturday night. I wasn't trying to work my brain.
Okay.
Like I needed to be simplified, but I didn't know much of many of the characters that they referred to, and backstory and language and that kind of thing. So I didn't. Yeah.
Your mission, if you choose to accept it. But no,
I did after the 15 minutes.
Yeah. But it was a good movie, so check it out if you get the chance.
Yeah, because even for me who hadn't seen all the others, I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
So I was able to catch up and figure it all out.
You know what I hated though? We were like in the front row.
Literally.
My neck is still broke because
I kept sitting sideways and making adjustments and
See, this is what happens when you wait to the last second to buy a ticket.
Yeah, don't do that.
we got the front row seats. That's where the front row don't really pay off.
We didn't actually have the front row seats. We had the second row.
See,
but somebody was in our seat.
See, you are revealing that we went to a ghetto. No,
we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Somebody was just wrong, and we just wasn't going to correct them.
They were in our seats, and I didn't want to start a fight. So
I was willing to correct them. Excuse me, you're in our seats. Here's our ticket.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mission Impossible.
They were probably supposed to be in the front row seats where we ended up being.
Yes. Mission Impossible, good movie. Check it out. What else did we do?
What did we do Sunday? I don't remember.
Sunday.
Did we do nothing?
Maybe.
We went to church.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to tell you what we did.
Saturday we went to church.
Saturday we went to church.
We went to Dave and Buster's Saturday evening.
Yeah, we did.
Birthday party.
Yeah.
Then we went to the movie.
You're right. So it was pretty busy. But then, we both work on Sunday morning. So we did that.
Yes.
And then I went to the church because there was a 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Basketball tournament. Yes. Men's ministry.
Yeah. So the New Life SDA Church. We had
Huntsville.
We had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Yes.
I played.
Yes.
Against my wife's wishes. I was hard.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was just gonna smile and say yes in the mic.
I was disobedient. But and I knew
wanted him to rest, but I also knew that he really wanted to play.
Yeah. So I played.
So when he got there early and he called me, I was like, oh, he playing.
Yep. And then she said, don't play. I said, okay.
Yeah.
And then play.
But
I played with my son and a couple friends that we pretty much adopted as sons, right?
His friends, correct.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, so there were
half your age.
Yeah. So I was a sub, and guess what? We won.
Awesome.
We won the tournament. And I like to think that I had something to do with that, right? Because,
And look, I asked him when he came home, I was like, look, since you played, the least you could have done, did you win? Because the least you could have done was win.
Right. And listen, I'll be honest with you. That might have been the lie that I would have told. I'd have come home and said, yeah, we won.
Yeah, that I would have asked our son.
Yeah.
Did y'all win?
You would not have. I would not have told you that I lost.
At least make me proud if you're going to disobey.
Right. So, and then Monday, which was the Memorial Day holiday, what did we do, babe?
Well, first we went shopping.
We did.
I enjoyed myself and went shopping.
I did too. I talk about how, if you've listened before, you know that I don't like shopping. I don't.
So he says.
I don't like shopping. That was one of the games we played.
Yes.
Who likes shopping more?
And I said you.
Wow. No.
He says he don't like shopping, but he really enjoys shopping.
Okay.
He just don't like shopping with me, except for Monday.
Yeah, Monday we shopped. I was almost embarrassed.
Why?
Because of how
our
much
basket was full.
Yes, is how much we had on our basket.
It's all right. We went thrifting.
Yes, we did. Now here's the thing. Okay, I'm pretty much shopping for a whole new wardrobe.
Yes, because you've lost 40
I've lost
pounds.
40 pounds. And I realized that I have not talked much about my journey since the beginning. So y'all hadn't heard much about that. But
do you want a show, babe, to talk about your journey?
A show to talk about?
You want a whole full hour on Envision Radio?
No. What? It would take you to think something like that. No. I just needed to change
not wearing such baggy clothes anymore.
Oh man, yeah. Somebody actually told me, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody actually said to me, I was trying to figure out whose clothes you were wearing.
Yeah, because they're so big.
The disrespect, how rude. Tell me I'm wearing somebody else's clothes.
Well, folks, he's got some clothes, and some of them were brand new.
Brand new.
Came out the thrift store with tags on them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, but I got excited, maybe a little too excited, But I mean, so we went thrifting, and everything was what, half off?
Yes, everything was half off.
So I was and I had to tear myself away from the rack.
I enjoy shopping anyway. I always have to tear myself away.
So anyway,
yes, so
yeah,
but then
I enjoyed it.
We went grocery shopping.
We did.
So that we could barbecue.
Yes. So we barbecued and
hung out with the sons.
Yeah, with the sons, the guys. Mm-hmm. So we had a nice little family.
Nice little family time. We talked a little bit about not military necessarily, but what Memorial Day meant. Actually, we didn't talk with you. I did talk with the guys though.
Yeah, what? I was outside on the grill, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. No, it was later.
Okay. Because you have these conversations with the guys and then leave me all the way out. And then
maybe I don't know what you were doing. Were you watching?
You do that all the
time.
So I'm trying to decide how I feel about it.
Was there a game on?
Later.
Maybe that's when later. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
There was a game on later. So anyway. But it's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's all right.
So that was our weekend.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how we spent our holiday. And we're just thankful for those who served and died.
Yeah.
For our freedoms.
Our freedoms. There are a lot of sacrifices that need to be made. And were made. So just so that we can just open our eyes and
be on this podcast.
Take it and take advantage of the freedoms that we take for granted, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So next week is June.
Already? What in the world?
Yeah, Sunday will be June.
I mean, we're talking like...
Am I right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Did I mess up the calendar again?
No. You're right. You're right. Got you questioning yourself. You looked at me
all strange.
No. I'm looking at you strange because we're in the sixth month of the year.
Yes, of the year. That's correct.
This is, like it was just
2025 half gone.
I mean, wow.
Can you believe it?
No.
Yeah, I know.
No. Anyway, but I'm grateful because to see it.
Yes.
Just to say, hey, I'm here. We made it to June.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
All right. So yes, that's our calendar. Let's go to our segment. How about that?
Okay. Sure. What segment are we doing this time?
What moved me this week? So go ahead.
No, I was just repeating
repeat it?
What moved me this week.
Our segment and games, because we also play a game a little bit later coming on, so keep listening.
Yes.
Are ways to connect and start conversations with your spouse.
Right.
That's really all they're for.
That's all it is.
Just a fun little way to start connecting more.
Right.
And if you're not connecting, to reconnect.
Right.
And also to just learn something silly or fun about your spouse.
Right.
Yeah, just to strike up some conversations, okay?
Yes.
So, babe, you want to go first?
Sure. What moved me this week? So, we were just talking about the weekend Right.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you what moved me this week. And I don't know, maybe it's not so much of what moved me, but what surprised me.
Okay.
Will that count? Can that count?
Sure.
Yeah. I was really surprised at how much fun I had shopping.
Shopping? We're going back to that.
Yes, I have to go back to it. I was really surprised. And you can talk about me all you want. It's fine.
I get lost in the shopping, so I get it.
I mean, because when I say I was deep into it and I'm picking up, I like this. I like this. I like this. And it was, and when I say I had to tear myself away, right? I don't know if you've ever. And
it's better when you're not spending,
a whole lot of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I was surprised really at the
the damage we did.
Yeah, I really was.
We're not going to say what it was, but we did really well.
Right. We did really well.
Considering.
Yeah. So, I mean, a basket full of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but now there were a couple of items to take back because they didn't fit. They didn't fit. Like, they were missized.
Yes.
Right.
Yours was missized. Mine just didn't fit.
Yeah. So, but I had, I don't know what, because the couple shirts, right? They were just like 3 times larger than the size that they
had listed. Yeah. Well, it is a thrift store.
So
they were just trying to put everything out on the floor so that we could come and shop. They knew that the whole city was going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it felt like the whole city was there. It was
crowded up in that place.
I had to wait in line for a basket.
Yeah. But that's what moved me or surprised me this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what moved me this week was seeing my son grateful for his next pair of glasses.
Oh, yeah. Now, I didn't get the chance to see that, when he first got them.
Yes. So we went today to get glasses, and yeah. So we actually got 2 pair. He got another set of goggles. And for sports, because he loves to play basketball.
Right.
And I can't have him tearing up his glasses. He real needs to see with.
The number of pair of glasses.
He's done worse as an adult, actually, than he did growing up.
It's ridiculous.
As a kid, yeah. But anyway, it's because, he'll put his goggles down. I don't know what he be doing. But anyway, several times he has broken his glasses playing basketball.
Yeah.
But anyway, his prescription changed.
Yeah.
And so we went and I helped him pick them out and so on and so forth, which, by the way, I don't normally do this because I do understand that he's grown.
Okay.
Yeah. But this time I actually paid for them.
Okay.
The last couple times he did. But since I knew he was going to kind of do an overhaul, I was like, okay, maybe I should. Maybe I should chip in. And chipping in ended up being paid in full. But yeah, he got fresh new frames, fresh new lenses, and fresh new lenses for his goggles with the works.
Yeah. And I went in there and I asked him about those, and he says, "Oh man, it makes a big difference."
Yeah.
And what's interesting?
He put them on and then he just smiled.
Oh wow. So yeah, I missed that. The thing about it is, he's not very expressive.
No.
Right. So then to hear that he smiled when he put them on, to hear him say, "Oh yeah, no, these are much better. I can see much better," to hear him actually verbalize that, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So
the lady helping us with the glasses, because she needed to make adjustments and that kind of thing. But she's like, so he on his goggles. She was like, so are you going to play basketball now? He was like, no. But because he wouldn't take off the goggles.
Yeah.
She was like, well, and then he was dressed like he was going to play ball.
Right.
So then she could understand why he wouldn't put on his regular glasses that he just got. But really, these were a different goggle frame. I think they just really fit so much differently from the ones that he had before.
Okay.
So he was just excited, and it was good to see that he was excited about getting new glasses. I mean, it's the simple things in life.
It is.
I got new glasses too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these frames are nice.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thanks. Though you didn't notice them at first.
No,
but it's
don't
okay.
do that.
It's
don't
all
do
right.
that. Don't
all right.
do that. Wow. As unfair. It was unfair.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it actually?
It was. It was
Okay.
unfair. I walk in the door. I'm trying to get something to eat. I'm in the kitchen fixing my dinner because it's late. Talking about my journey, my health journey. I'm up against the time, and then you walk in talking about you like my glasses.
No, that is not what happened. You saw me for a good while before I said anything. That's why I was trying to be quiet while you was talking, because I knew you was gonna try to slip some lie in.
Oh, wait. That's a topic for another episode.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So.
But anyway,
moving on.
We got new glasses. We're both happy.
Yes.
Our prescriptions changed a bit, so we can both see a little better.
Okay. All right. So mental health.
Mental health.
Yes.
So this time we're talking about past trauma in our marriage. Nope. Past trauma in your marriage today.
Okay. How past trauma has affected your marriage today. Interesting. Yeah.
So it's sticking with our Mental Health Awareness Month. And let's just talk about what trauma actually is.
Okay.
Because I think we use the word trauma and people may not know actually what it means.
Sure.
How about that? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give my reference. This is from mind.org. Trauma is when we experience very stressful, frightening, and distressing events that are difficult to cope with or out of our control. Okay, so it could be one incident or an ongoing event that happens over a long period of time. Most of us, now this is a quote, most of us will experience an event in our lives that could be considered traumatic.
Okay.
But we won't all be affected the same way.
Right.
Trauma can happen at any age, and it can affect us at any time, including a long time after the event has happened.
Including a long time after the event has happened. Okay. So you're saying that you may not be affected by it immediately.
Right then. Correct.
Okay.
All right. Hence the word past trauma.
Okay.
In your marriage today. Okay. Trauma can manifest in many ways, but can potentially lead to PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression.
Okay.
All right. So, babe, tell us what is PTSD.
Okay. So PTSD, we're talking about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
All right. So we're talking about a result of a traumatic event, right? That actually can be quite debilitating. Meaning, then it'll disorient you. You can it affects your functionality, day-to-day functions.
Yes.
And oftentimes, it's interesting that we talk about PTSD right after Memorial Day.
Yes.
Because a lot of people associate PTSD to those who were in the service,
served in the military,
as a result of some of the things that they've experienced while they were in the field.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. PTSD is not strictly relegated to just those who are who have been in the military or have experienced things in the military, because it could be
any stressful trauma,
any kind of stressful trauma. So then it's a reaction to that. I mean, sometimes it's flashbacks, sometimes it's it's really kind of a defense mechanism, I would say.
Yes.
And with regard to what you have experienced, if something actually is triggering, right? Because there's oftentimes a trigger, and when you have that, it puts you in a position to where your functions, I'm going to say functions, just your normal behavior, becomes affected.
Yes.
And you're unable to function as you would normally.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to mention that one, PTSD is a mental health condition. So this is something that is diagnosed.
Okay.
Also, some of this information I forgot to mention also came from the Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
So I didn't want to not give my references. All right. So then there's also acute stress disorder.
Acute stress disorder. Now, here's the thing, right? Acute stress disorder, it's pretty much the same, but the symptoms kind of manifest in a different time frame.
Yeah.
Okay. Generally within 1 month of that trauma. So then you're comparing that to the post-traumatic stress disorder, where the your symptoms manifest a year later.
And many, and
Yeah.
oftentimes.
Yeah, or many
Or-
years. Yeah.
Yes,
So
because
then,
that trigger may not come up for many years.
right,
So
right.
then
And
there you
can
have
be
it.
more of an ongoing
Mm-hmm.
type of deal, right? So acute stress disorder, really the symptoms within the month. It could be an immediate manifestation.
Yeah.
And up to a month. So, I mean, you may have flashbacks and nightmares, avoidance, negative emotions, all those things, which are similar to what you would have with post-traumatic stress disorder. But one of the bigger significant differences is going to be the time frame in which it manifests. So acute stress disorder, you have a shorter manifestation, and then the post-traumatic stress disorder, they manifest, the symptoms manifest much later.
Yes.
Yeah, and can be ongoing.
Yes, and right, both can be ongoing. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
But these, we're just listing two mental health conditions that can come from trauma.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, I mean there are others. We're just, we've got an hour, and we're not experts. We're not specialists in this field, but we wanted to at least bring some basics to your attention. So, what are some things that these symptoms of trauma can lead to, babe?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, you look at how behaviors change,
Mm-hmm.
and oftentimes it's a result of many different things as well, right? Because your behaviors may change because of substance abuse,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this trauma can lead to that.
Yes,
Again, we're talking about how we deal with
that is correct. And
how we deal
everyone
with
will
that
deal with it differently.
differently. That's right.
Yes, but it definitely can lead to substance abuse
Yeah.
as a masking
Yeah.
of the trauma.
Right. I mean, because one of the terms that we used earlier was just avoidance.
Yes.
How do we avoid, or how do we cope with these things?
Right.
And sometimes many times substance abuse is really just to make me feel better about what's happening, right?
Yes, or what has happened.
Or what has happened, right? You know, um, and then when you talk about that, you also have periods of depression.
Yes.
Because people, as they look back at what happened, sometimes you have you blame yourself.
Yes.
You
And
know,
even functional depression.
yeah,
We talked about that in the podcast last week.
yeah. So, but because you blame yourself, and you get to that point of serious clinical depression, right? I mean, you get there. There are thoughts of suicide.
Yes.
You know, um, and it's wow. I mean, it's really, keep using that word debilitating, but it really just takes a lot out of you, and changes who you are.
Yes.
When you are
and it's a strain on your mental health.
Yeah.
Totality.
Yeah. Your emotional health, everything about it. Yeah. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I know. I mean, I'm trying to think of what else we could attribute to that kind of thing. I mean, when you talk about
acting out,
yeah, behaviors, the way you treat people,
narcissism.
Yeah. I mean, you can get to a point where you are even self-sabotage in certain situations, right? Where we are we recognize that, or what we understand or perceive to be a things to be a particular way. And if they're going in a, even if they're going in a positive direction,
Yes.
more positive than what we have previously experienced, then we will self-sabotage that because no, it's supposed to be the way I remember it. And what I remember, it was depressing and bad, but that's the way life is. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
doesn't necessarily have to be the case.
Yeah, there's a lot that entangles in the trauma and traumas that people can face in
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
And again, everyone takes it and handles it differently.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it could be a personality thing. It could be because of the particular trauma.
Yeah.
Maybe just how the life you've had to live or the household you were in. So many factors.
Right.
And you can go through many things. You can go through phases of all of them.
Yeah.
Depend upon, the trauma that you've lived through and how you take that trauma, how soon you go and get help, and so on and so forth. But it's very difficult to deal with, to recognize, even from a person to person standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would dare say more so individually. Like if you were traumatized, would you know that you were traumatized and these things in your life have been affected by that trauma?
Mm.
I think that's difficult to recognize because oftentimes you're in survival mode.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. You're in survival mode. And if it's not survival mode, it definitely is where you don't recognize it because you're
Yeah.
in it.
You're in it.
You don't realize how
You're
severe.
living life.
Yeah, you don't realize how severe the trauma has been on you, and so now, um, you know, it. Yeah, you don't realize it, and you move on, not thinking that something needs to be addressed.
Right. Right.
So, and you know what, and I want to something I just realized. I said you go on not realizing that something needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
I was careful not to say you don't realize that something is wrong,
Okay.
right? And I want to point that out because uh, oftentimes I think that many of us don't seek out the help and support that we need because we don't want to be uh, deemed like something is wrong.
Yes.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
Uh, the what was wrong may have been the trauma.
Right. But why would I want to go back there or deal with it?
Right.
Flashbacks and the memories are bad enough.
Right. Right.
So I don't want to acknowledge that.
Right. So, but your feelings toward that, right? That's not what is wrong,
Right.
and that's where we need to be careful to point that out. So then, yeah, we're in a position to where there is something that needs to be addressed, not
Right.
that there's something wrong. So we want to make sure that we understand that because certainly, our level of trauma or how we respond to things, that's just the way our body reacts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That is the way our body reacts. So to say that our body is reacting wrong, um, it just puts more of a
No.
stigma on something that
Yeah.
really doesn't require that stigma. It just, hey, let's find a way to react differently so that
And
we
your
can.
natural reactions are defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay. Your body is trying to protect itself.
Yes. Yeah.
And that may be recognized, it may not be recognized.
Right.
But being able to have people around you
Mm-hmm.
who can tell you, who can recognize, and who, people who will be honest with you.
Yes. Yes. I
To say,
mean,
hey, what about talking to somebody?
You
What
know,
about calling the hotline?
and I think sometimes the friends that we keep really kind of keep us from growing in that
Sometimes
respect.
that's true, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you
So
know
you need to have some good people around
you
you.
need to have the people
Who are willing to help you grow, and you are willing to help them grow.
yeah, and be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
Honest,
You know,
change.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because yeah. So anyway, all right, we
So
want to get away
let's
from.
go with our suicide hotline.
Okay.
You can call 988 for suicide hotline.
Yes.
Since we're already talking about it, let's just go
Yes.
ahead and give that. And then for our suicide and crisis hotline, 1-888-628-9454. It's not our hotline.
'Cause you
I'm
kept
so
saying
sorry. I kept saying our. It is the
yeah.
suicide and crisis hotline and then
Yeah.
suicide hotline.
It's- yeah.
Those
So
are some helpful things that you can call and do.
yeah.
Just in case that is you.
And those numbers will be in the show notes. For those who are checking out the podcast, you see that in the description.
Right.
So that'll be included in that. We also, just like we did last week, will include the resources for what was it, BetterHelp?
Yes.
BetterHelp and Brightside.
Mm-hmm.
We included those last week, so those will also be in the show notes for this week as well.
Because the whole point too is to give help,
Yes.
to plant seeds.
Yes.
You know, if you're the one who needs to call, please do. And if you're not the one, but you know someone
Right.
who needs to call, here's the information.
Right. Right.
Okay?
So that's why we say share.
Yes.
Because
share.
We all we really are trying to do is just help us all grow together.
Yes. Open discussions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what you say in the intro, right?
Yes.
Let's have some discussions and let's grow together.
There you go. All right, we're gonna lighten it up a little bit.
Okay.
How about that? Let's play a game.
All right.
So we talked about the segment. The game is no different.
Right.
It is to help you with conversation,
yes,
connection,
yes,
with your spouse.
Yes.
So that y'all can have something fun to do.
Yes.
All right, you ready, babe?
Yep.
All right, this game is called First Thing.
Oh man. I give up on you.
Yes, you should. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was rolling right on with it. I
did
you
that
didn't
even
last
catch.
week.
You didn't even catch me.
I
The
did
look.
not catch.
I was giving
and
you
I'm
the
literally
look.
the one saying it. I don't know what happened.
It was your.
It was my idea. I can admit that.
Your
I don't know
corny
why I have
jingle.
walked away from it.
And you have abandoned something that you have.
And I like it. And I just keep on rolling on by it. I'm not sure what my problem is. Okay, babe. I'm ready now. You ready?
Yes.
Da-da-da-da. Now it's time for our game.
Okay, we are going to play a game.
Shame on me. Okay, so game is called First Thing.
First Thing. Okay.
All right. So the first thing that comes to your mind when we say a word. Okay. That's how that works. All right.
All right.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I don't even know, but I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go first.
Me? I'll go first?
Yeah.
Okay. First thing. The first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word, I'm not going to go in order. Just for that.
Oh, you are dirty. Oh, you know what? I quit.
I have a list of things, people, and the first one he wanted to go. That's why he's like, "No, you go first."
No, it was because of the second one I didn't want to go first.
Okay, all right. So I'll go ahead and go back in order. Sport.
Basketball. Yeah, basketball. Thank you.
Basketball. That's your favorite sport, babe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I like to play. I'm pretty good at it too.
Apparently so. Winning men's ministry tournaments.
Yeah, winning. 3-on-3. Yeah. So, yep. So.
All right, I can do number 2. Go ahead. Okay. Ask me, babe.
Pillow.
All right. So the first thing pillow. What's the first? Pillow talk.
Okay. See, that's why I didn't want to do that one. I was like, what in the world? I don't know what the.
Well, you know what? when I write them down, I don't want to say the first thing that came to my mind then, because then that's kind of like cheating. So I had to think of something else.
Okay. Got you. All right. All right. What's next?
You're next.
No, I said pillow. Didn't you say next?
Okay, so you're gonna ask me the next. Seinfeld. First word that comes to mind.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I said first word. You go whole name.
Elaine.
I love Elaine.
Yeah. You know what's wild though? I don't know why. Well, when the show was on, I had the biggest crush on Elaine. I don't know why.
It was the hair. It was the curls.
Maybe the big hair. Yeah. Okay.
I liked it. No, she's an excellent actress.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I've followed her over actually since Seinfeld. Now, mind you, I did not like the show.
Anyway,
I can say that out loud.
We're not talking about this.
I'm not gonna lose no card over it. But I did like her character.
Okay.
There you go. And I've been a fan ever since.
Okay. All right. Next one. Favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Really?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out why
I am a noodles girl.
I mean, true, because we go to nothing but noodles like at the drop of a hat.
Okay. I never get tired of nothing but noodles.
Man, every time I turn around, let's go nothing but noodles. Really? Again?
I love it. Yeah, I love spaghetti. Any of its versions.
Any of its versions. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. Fine. Next one.
All right. So what comes to mind when I say August?
31st.
Why is that vague?
That's my birthday.
Yes.
August 31st. The last day in August. And I remember growing up. So we're in Alabama. And what drives me nuts is that school starts like the first week of August.
Yeah.
I never understood that.
Like that.
No. I mean, in New York, school didn't start till after Labor Day.
That is correct.
And you know what? I'm sorry. Having said Labor Day, now I've got to pick on you. And now we're on the radio, so I'm going to say.
I don't care.
For the first people listen, we want to talk about how the first 10, 15, 20 years of our marriage.
It wasn't such an exaggerator.
I mean, wow. You want to talk about why we had such a hard time in our marriage at the very beginning?
Oh, my goodness. You say he's going to talk about me. You say he's going to lie on me.
Because Kenya did not know when my birthday was. I mean, you don't know how many times. No. Let me tell the story. Can I tell the story, please?
Not if you're going to lie.
I'm going to tell you.
You gave 5 lies before you started acting tell the story.
So I asked her when my birthday, because she did not know. She didn't know. Right? And this is what she says. Oh, yeah. Your birthday is Labor Day. Now, everybody.
It was always Labor Day weekend.
Everybody knows Labor Day is what? The first Monday in the month of September. So first off, you got the wrong month. Second, the first Monday in the month changes every year.
It might.
The date changes every year. So there's no way my birthday could be Labor Day. I mean, I like that my birthday's near a holiday. You know what I'm saying?
It's practically on a holiday. So I associate it.
It's in a whole different month.
Barely. You can't even say a whole different month.
It's a whole different month.
Barely.
It's in August, not September.
Barely.
Anyway.
So yeah, that's how I simply associate it to the point where I just forgot when you was actually born. That's all.
You forgot when I was born. Can I also say?
Forget
can I also say? And I'm gonna tell you why this is such a big deal, because you remind us the whole 3 months prior to your birthday coming.
Well, maybe if you reminded me of your birthday, we wouldn't have
I'm not
this
going to do that. You know I'm not going to do that.
That's not my
here's
fault.
the other thing. Here's the other thing. I'm going to tell you what I did do. People understand this is what I did do. Right? She forgot my birthday and I didn't say anything for an entire week.
Actually, it was almost 2. Yeah.
I didn't say anything. And when I did say, you started crying.
I know. I felt so bad. I don't know that I actually cried.
Yes, there were tears.
Oh my God. I think once again, he's exaggerating.
There were
but
tears,
I really
Kenya.
felt bad.
There were tears.
I do not recall tears.
You can admit that you cried. You felt bad about it. I mean,
I literally just said I felt bad. I ain't said nothing about crying.
Listen, it'll probably make me feel better to know that you cried.
Oh, I'm sure. That's why you're lying on the radio.
Anyway,
if you had said nowadays in my 50s, sure I cried. Then, oh no, I know a tear didn't fall.
Yeah. Talk about PTSD.
Uh-huh.
That was traumatic for me.
I apologized.
No, okay. That's all I got out of it.
No, that's not true. I turned around and did something later.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Of course you don't. Of course you don't.
I remember.
Apparently, I have to apologize for the rest of our marriage. Jeez.
Oh no! To see, don't you know what? Can we move on? This game's over.
Yes, let's move on. Turn into an argument.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the game so that we could have great conversations and be silly for a moment.
But that was all your fault. You the one that put August on that one. So
you said the 31st. No one told you to tell a story with it. I said first thing.
We were supposed to be sparking
Look, now
communication.
I have to correct you.
All right. Now let's get back to where
Let's get back to our podcast. Yes, I agree. Game over.
Game over.
I won, by the way, just for the record. Okay. How does your mental health and your identity affect your marriage?
I think that sometimes for those of us who experience, or deal with trauma, right? Because this is what we're really talking about, right? How that trauma changes our behavior.
It does.
And because it has changed our behavior, we treat each other differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
what is your identity?
Yeah. Well, then that's the thing.
Right.
We get confused by that.
Yes. Not meaning to, not even really understanding that you do.
Right.
But your identity can change based on how you perceive the trauma that you've gone through, based on how you've grown from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You make adjustments. Again, sometimes that's survival. And you know what? Because of this, I'm not going to do this. Even if it is against my natural personality, well, you know what? Now it is what it is.
Right. And then if there are situations that we have not addressed, then we believe that we're okay.
Yes.
And then
and
because we believe
that we are.
Yes. And then when we go into situations where
we as in people.
Right. And when our behavior is not acceptable, right?
Yes.
As a result of it, and we don't believe that anything is wrong, then we are not open.
Because life has allowed us to be this way.
And we're not open to the growth that is necessary.
Right. Because this is now who I am.
Yeah.
But then we're married.
Oh.
And then that spouse is like, hey.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah. And like I said last week, as if marriage isn't work enough.
Yes, it is.
You have now other factors that really kind of impact our marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your identity within your marriage and who you say that you are.
Yeah.
Is one thing from a trauma state. It can be another thing and should be another thing from a healing state. So your identity to an extent does change. And it affects your spouse because your spouse is in it with you.
Yeah.
Oftentimes your spouse is the one that's saying, no.
Right.
No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Or this should be worked through on a couch. Or no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And able to help you recognize those things. So then your identity as to who you are or who you thought you were changes and can affect so many areas.
Okay.
Because trauma doesn't just affect your relationship, it affects your world.
Yeah. So, okay, so then what we're saying here is that trauma, particularly unaddressed trauma, can really have a negative impact on our relationships, on our
Absolutely.
marriage, or how we interact. Well, for that matter, with anyone.
Yes.
You know.
If I was in an abusive relationship and was traumatized from that,
Mhm.
I don't want to say let's say Susan. If Susan was in an abusive relationship and traumatized from that, Susan's next relationship
is going to be impacted by it.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to walk in, it's like what I was saying earlier. You walk in believing that things are supposed to be this way.
Correct.
And
Susan probably went into a relationship quickly. Oftentimes that happens, but should not happen.
Right.
Susan probably goes into the next relationship not realizing she's picking the same type of person.
Right.
And then does anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So many things, it's kind of like a domino effect in the sense.
Right.
Susan may not know that she has, acute stress disorder.
Right.
She may not have recognized it. She may not realize that she has anxiety now because of that abusive relationship. Now, we're just giving examples, okay? But these are things that absolutely can happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it may be less, but it could be more.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, when you talk about a spectrum.
Yes.
Right. A spectrum of what diagnoses, right? So then you talk about anxiety and depression. There's no level to where we can actually say, oh, you have crossed the threshold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very difficult, especially coming from a spouse perspective, because again, the spouse is receiving it, but also being of help. So it is a different situation from the spouse perspective, because they may not be in the healing part of it, but they're in the helping part of it. So then they see the whole full spectrum of what is taking place.
Yeah.
Firsthand, and then, directly affected, but also still trying to maintain the marriage, still trying to maintain, whether that person, let's say, for instance, whether Susan recognizes it or not. So it can be a lot. And I think that Mental Health Awareness Month allows for these types of conversations. Would I talk about it on a Tuesday in September? I don't know. You know what I mean? But the fact that May is set aside for this,
right,
I appreciate, because it gives us the opportunity and says, hey, this is the door that's opening.
Mm-hmm.
Do some research, look up some things, maybe go talk to someone to see if maybe you have any kind of stressors or any kind of past traumas that may be affecting your marriage. Maybe you have anxiety, or maybe you have some signs of depression, functional depression or not.
Right.
There are so many things, but this is the time, to set aside in a sense so that those conversations can be opened up and so that help can be
we can look into. And again, just a reminder, we don't want to perpetuate the stigma against having experienced the trauma,
right,
and then oftentimes the behavior. Certainly when it comes down to the certain behaviors that we may do.
Trauma is not your fault.
The trauma is not your fault. Now, the thing about it is, certain behaviors, if we were to act out in a particular way, that's unacceptable. Certainly, if it's if it involves crime and things like that,
knowingly unacceptable.
right?
Yes.
So, but when we talk about how we are emotionally responding to some of that trauma, we don't want to perpetuate the stigma that this is a bad thing.
Correct.
Right? But it is something that we need to address. We need to
and work through,
navigate through that,
and heal from.
Yes. Yeah. So.
All right, so we're coming to the close of our podcast
for this episode.
Yes, so let's give some love lessons really quickly.
Okay.
Just a few.
Okay.
Number one, be mindful and empathetic.
Yeah.
Of what your spouse is dealing with, as well as how they are affected by their trauma.
Yes.
Be a support system for them.
Yeah.
Don't judge, even if it's hard.
I mean, here's the thing, right? There's nothing worse than the person that you hope to be able to just rely on, right, or confide in, and you do, and then guess what? It is
judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is not cool.
Not at all.
And nor is it helpful to the healing.
Right.
Or the growth.
Yeah, because all you're doing is really just pushing them further down.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So be mindful, be empathetic, and be supportive of your spouse as they go through their healing and dealing process.
Yeah. Yeah. And then don't be afraid to reach out for some help. Go. We gave some resources. We'll share that again, and it'll be in the show notes. But betterhelp.com, you can go there. Brightside.com, or you can.
They are
actually
online counselors.
Yes. Yeah. And that's private. I mean, because now you can just,
counselors, psychiatrists.
Yeah, you'll have
psychologists
and psychiatrists you will speak with, and you can do that right there, in private,
which is great.
Yeah,
and it allows some comfort.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing:
you can be vulnerable.
You don't even have to leave to go to an office, right?
Sure don't, because it's online.
Right. So those are great resources.
Yeah.
Remember the suicide hotline, which is 988. That's your suicide hotline. So if you have thoughts of suicide and things like that, please reach out.
Yes.
Or the suicide and crisis hotline, which is 888-628-9454.
Yes.
Again, these numbers are going to be in the show notes, so you can have that. Write that down so you can have it available for you. All right?
Yes. All right. So in closing, thanks for joining, listening to us.
Yes.
Listening to the Marriage Be Like podcast.
Yes.
Thank you and we hope that we planted seeds for mental health awareness.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening on Envision Radio.
Envision-radio.com.
Yes. And we are here every Thursday
at 4 p.m.
Eastern Time.
That's right.
And 3 o'clock Central Time.
That's it.
Come check us out on our website at marriagebelike.com. And you can listen there, or you can listen to our podcast on anywhere where you get podcasts. Honestly, and on YouTube and anywhere.
Yes. Everywhere.
All right. So look, you can also email us at kennyandkenya at marriagebelike.com.
In fact, you could email us, tell us what you did for Memorial Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us.
We told you what we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us how you celebrated.
She dragged me around shopping.
And you enjoyed it.
Wow, you didn't have to say it like that. Wow.
Yes, sir.
So listen here, just a couple things here. Remember, the Marriage Be Like podcast is a production of Green Room Entertainment. We are our media production company. Mm-hmm. You can check us out at greenroomentertain.com. All right. And the theme music, you hear it right now, produced by our son, KEG Beats.
Yes.
KEG Beats.
You want to contact him, you can contact him through our email.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we appreciate you listening. We hope that we were of help.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.